Whether you're just starting out in HR or considering a new direction in your career, gaining clarity on your next steps can be challenging. Today, we'll discuss the golden triangle of career clarity, the T-shaped HR competency model, and strategies for upskilling to bridge the HR skills gap. In our jobs, we talk about creating rewarding and fulfilling jobs for our workforce, but today, it's all about us in HR. If you're confused about your own career path, feel like you're at a crossroads, or wondering what HR roles will be in high demand, you're in the right place. Welcome to Reimagining HR with Trina Sunday, the rule-breaking podcast where we challenge our thinking and our current people practices. This podcast is for time-poor HR teams and business leaders who are feeling the burn, lacking laughs, and not feeling the love. I'm Trina, your host, and I'm here to cut through the BS, explore different ways of thinking, and create high-impact HR functions. Because happier, healthier organisations are better for our people and our bottom line. So if you are keen to flip traditional HR on its head, hit the follow or subscribe button so you're the first to know when new episodes drop. I'm here to help and also to shake things up. So let's get started. I talk with HR professionals every day, and I'm noticing that there are a lot who work in the people space but feel like they're at a crossroads. Many have outgrown their current roles, they're not loving the function they're in, they're mapping out their career pathway, or they're considering getting the hell out altogether for lots of different reasons. Ambition, natural career progression, personal growth, burnout. But whatever the reason, I'm having similar conversations from week to week. So I thought I'd deep dive into the work I do on career clarity, given how tailored it is to HR. Let's start with my golden triangle of career clarity. It's a concept stolen proudly from marketing and involves three key elements. It's looking at what the market needs, what you have to offer, and what motivates you. This triangle helps you find the sweet spot where your unique skills, experiences, and personality meet a market need. And this part's crucial. It's something you enjoy and are engaged in. The sweet spot. It's golden. So the first element's looking at what the market needs. Understanding the market needs is essential, whether that's a labour market, or the key challenges in your industry or your function, and trying to understand how they're going to change from the mid to the long term. What are the specific needs that employers and clients are hiring experts to solve? Who are they bringing consultants in to help, and what are those consultants doing? And HR generalists with specialised knowledge in tech or OD are highly sought after because they've got the balance across both sides. But I'm going to talk about those career paths and emerging trends in a bit. The second part is what you have to offer. So reflect on your unique value proposition. What is unique about you? What specifically is it about your personality, qualifications, skills, the positions and experiences that you've had? How have you solved challenges or identified needs? And what's the impact that you can deliver that's different from your peers or your competitors? And I'm going to talk about the T-shaped HR team's competency model because that will give you some inspiration of what skills that you might want to reflect on. But don't look to frameworks to help do this for you. This is about you. So think about your own superpowers. And if you're the self-deprecating type that hates to focus on what you do well and saying anything positive about yourself, please ask some people around you. The third part is what motivates you. Think about what drives you. What do you want to do? What gets you out of bed in the morning? Think about the challenges or the problems that you identified. Which of those are you most excited about solving? Because that intrinsic motivation is key to you finding long-term career satisfaction. That experiential kind of feeling element of why you do what you do is often overlooked, but it's crucial for creating a unique personal brand. And differing roles in HR suit different skills. So if you're a detail-oriented type and enjoy analytics, then a role in people analytics might be perfect for you. Alternatively, if you've got strong interpersonal skills and a passion for employee engagement, a position in organisational development might be ideal. And if you're an astute problem solver who likes enabling others, then business partnering might be your jam. But this is a massive stereotype, and we are complex humans. So it's important to look at all of our skills and couple that with our personality. Just because we're good at something doesn't mean we want to do it all the time. So let's delve deeper into some of the most sought after roles in HR, both now and in the future. And most of us would know some of these top roles today. They've been around for a while, even if we keep trying to change the name of them. The first one obviously is HR business partner. HR BPs are essential in aligning HR strategies with business goals, right? They work closely with senior leadership to develop policies and help support objectives. And it's their strategic role that makes them highly sought after in companies that are trying to integrate HR and business strategy. The HR business partner, if strategic, is the conduit. But more than that, they coach people leaders, they help solve problems, and they understand the pain points. And HR BPs are your primary source of intel when it comes to designing or revising people practices. Another is obviously talent acquisition specialists. So as the competition for talent intensifies, and we know it is right now, the role of talent acquisition specialists has become crucial. They're responsible for sourcing, attracting, and hiring top talent. And with a growing emphasis on employer branding and the candidate experience, this role is expected to remain in high demand. Another is learning and development managers. They've been around for a while, but with continuous learning becoming a really top priority, this is separating employers in the market. L&D play a key role in designing and implementing training programs that enhance employee skills and support career growth. And they're vital in creating a culture of continuous improvement and learning. Now, in upcoming, we've got the HR data analyst, right? Been around for a long time, but the importance of data-driven decision-making is increasing in HR. And HR data analysts collect and analyse workforce data, right? They provide insights that inform HR strategies. Their ability to interpret data and predict trends, it makes them indispensable in modern HR departments. Now, diversity inclusion managers, there is a lot of debate around this right now and globally. So I follow a lot of influence and thought leaders and thought partners around the world when it comes to diversity and inclusion. And it's still a very critical role in our organisations. And promoting diversity and inclusion is not just a trend, and that's the flack it's been copying, but it's a necessity. Diversity and inclusion specialists develop strategies that foster inclusive workplace culture. And their role is crucial in ensuring that all employees feel valued and that they are supported, but they also ensure diverse representation. And that is good for decision making, which in turn is good for the bottom line. And the last one I'd say, which is, a current role, been around for a while, but still something which I feel like is a stretch from traditional HR functions, is employee experience specialists. So those roles focus on improving the overall employee experience. These specialists work to enhance employee engagement, satisfaction, and productivity. And their role is becoming increasingly important as organisations recognise the link between employee experience and business success, and the customer experience, hence the business success. So we know that these roles have been around, but those are the roles that are being amplified in the current market and where we are. But looking ahead, the future of HR is likely to see an increased demand for roles that integrate technology and human interaction. So a couple of examples of that, I guess, would be, say, a HR technology specialist. So as technology continues to transform HR processes, specialists in HR technology will be vital. They will manage and implement HR tech solutions, and they'll ensure that those solutions align with business goals and improve efficiency, that the solutions solve a business problem. The second role that I can think of would be people analytics leaders. And you might have heard a recent chat I had with Richard Rosenau about people analytics, but this is about building on the role of the HR data analyst. This is about leveling up. So people analytics leaders will take a strategic approach to data. They'll use more advanced analytics to inform leadership decisions and to drive organisational performance. And as Richard said in that recent episode, it is listening at scale and the best way of staying connected with what our workforce needs. The third role I can think about is kind of a remote work coordinator. And with the rise of remote work and post-COVID, we all know that we've been experiencing that and debating what's right or wrong in terms of the remote work landscape. But organisations are going to need experts who can help manage and optimise remote work strategies. So remote work coordinators would ensure that remote employees remain engaged, productive, and integrated into the company culture. You can't pick up our physical office-based culture and just expect to be able to do that online. The way we show up needs to be different. And the future isn't going away anytime soon, so neither is the future of work, I dare say. These roles highlight the evolving nature of HR, right? And the growing importance of specialised skills. So staying informed about industry trends and emerging roles can really help you make strategic career decisions. And if you are reacting to some of the roles I've talked about, hate that, love that, tune in, make a note of that, because it's part of all of the, the information that you need to gather that's going to help give you clarity in your career. Now, I mentioned earlier that I was going to talk about T-shaped HR competency model, catchy, but the T-shaped HR model outlines critical competencies that all HR professionals need to have. And that's namely business acumen, data literacy, digital ability, people advocacy, and execution excellence. So if we look at business acumen, understanding the business environment is crucial. This includes knowledge of financial management, strategic thinking, and understanding how HR impacts business outcomes. So HR professionals need to align HR strategies with business goals, right, to drive organisational success. That's crucial for us to have in our toolkit if we are wanting to move into senior HR roles in our organisations. The second role is data literacy. Being able to interpret and use data effectively is essential in today's HR landscape. This means not only collecting and analysing data, but also making data-driven decisions that can improve our HR practices and overall performance. The third critical competency is digital ability. So HR professionals need to be proficient using digital tools and platforms. And I know that freaks lots of us out depending on what our roles are. And yes, it includes HR information systems, but also data analytics tools and other technology that can streamline HR processes and enhance employee experience. So we might not be the ones coding and we might not need to be the ones, on the back end of the tech, but we need to understand how the tech integrates with people practices, and we need to understand what we need to automate, and that's what's going to enhance our digital ability. And without adding that value, then we won't be showing up in that space. The next critical competency is people advocacy. So this is about championing employees' needs and fostering a positive organisational culture. And that's at the heart of HR. And I know that our reputation is often built around, we're there for the organisation, only the organisation. It's a fine line, and it is a tension that we navigate all the time. And only those of us that work in HR will understand the delicate balance between our commitments to the organisation and our commitments to our people. But the people advocacy competency involves understanding and addressing employee concerns, right? Promoting diversity and inclusion and ensuring well-being in all of its phases: physical, mental, financial, social. Execution excellence is the last critical competence. We all need to have it. It's our bread and butter. So the effective execution of HR strategies and initiatives, it's everything, right? It means managing projects efficiently, ensuring compliance with policies and regulations, sure, but continuously improving HR processes. It's that agile, iterative approach to refine, so that we can align. Now, these competencies provide a really solid foundation for HR professionals to build their careers. And the AI HR competency framework explores them in more detail, and it gives a great framework for doing your own self-capability audit, or I can help you with that. But without strong foundations in the core competencies, it's really hard for you to move into senior HR roles. And if you're already in one and don't have those competencies, it's harder for you to be effective and influential. It might be what your gap is. It might be what's holding you back. Being able to demonstrate those critical competencies of business acumen, data literacy, digital ability, people advocacy, and your excellence in execution. It's part of what's going to separate you from the field. But we also need to take stock of our leadership capability, right? Whether that's leading ourselves and the self-awareness and leading with empathy, or our role in leading others, where we would have to be really skilled at building trust and, managing conflict and developing and coaching others. But then as we get bigger in organizations, right, it's about leading the organization. It's about inspiring and motivating and setting the direction. Interestingly, AIHR talk about specialty areas of HR in a slightly different way to the Ulriches and the Bersons of the world. But your subject matter expertise might be grouped into areas like awareness and attraction. So that's employer branding, talent acquisition, onboarding. Lots of people would call that recruitment. People experience and culture, that's a grouping of performance and total rewards, well-being and health, diversity, equity, inclusion, belonging. What else would be there? Employee experience, what a lot of us would call OD. The next area would be business transformation. This is probably the truest form of organisational development in the work that I do, related to change management or organisational design, workforce planning. And I see it being underinvested in or led in various ways through either the head of HR or OD teams, or not at all. The other grouping is around talent growth, right? So talent management, leadership development, learning and development. This is where we want to build our talent, grow them so we are not in this cycle of recruitment. Digital HR is absolutely fundamentally an emerging subject matter expert field. It's people analytics and HR technology way beyond the existing HRIS person, as I mentioned. But then the foundational space and our core work is around people operations, right? So if you're grouping your subject matter expertise, then your function might be in people operations, which is where we would see compensation and benefits, employee relations, offboarding, HR policies and procedures and payroll. It's our non-negotiable function. If we're not showing up and doing people operations well, then we are going to have some challenges. So think about yourself in terms of where you are as a subject matter expert. Are you in that awareness and attraction space? Are you in people experience and culture? Are you in business transformation? Talent growth, digital HR, people operations, all core valued functions that we have. And obviously there's specialism within them. But the HR landscape's evolving rapidly. We've got economic setbacks, talent shortages, and changing employee expectations, which are putting unprecedented pressure on HR professionals. This isn't just a HR problem, this is a business problem. In fact, 79% of HR professionals do not have the competencies necessary to solve the people problems in organisations over the next 5 years. So bridging this skills gap is crucial. And if you want to optimise your career pathway, you first have to know where your sweet spot is, and then it's all about upskilling, continuous learning and development. It's vital for us to stay relevant and effective in HR. So how do we address the gap? Upskilling is the key. So a recent State of HR Upskilling report highlights a whole range of strategies and focus areas for HR professionals to enhance their skills. And I've kind of adapted those to, share with you. But the first is about focusing on what I've been talking about, critical competencies. So identify and prioritize the critical competencies that are essential for future success. And as we discussed earlier, that's business acumen, data literacy, digital ability, people advocacy, and that execution excellence. They are all fundamental, but so is enhancing your current and desired areas of specialism that sits underneath them. Second strategy to help you upskill is around embracing continuous learning. I know we're busy, but we deprioritize this and our own learning all the time. And if you want to go far in HR, you need to adopt a mindset of lifelong learning. Seek out courses and workshops and certifications that align with your career goals. Online platforms can offer a range of courses that are really tailored to HR professionals looking to enhance their skills. But a word of warning, the world according to Trina, it might not be the professional bodies in our respective countries. And certifications often drive sales more than substance. And so you need to make sure that your investment is going to upskill you in the areas that you need. And I help my clients navigate that deliberation all the time. The other strategy for you is to develop digital skills. Like with the increasing reliance on technology in HR, developing digital skills is crucial. And this includes learning how to leverage HR technology. You don't have to be a coder, but you need to understand data analytics and you need to be proficient in digital communication tools. Digital comms is here to stay. And so that alone needs to be a focus that you're really savvy at using. The other strategy is to engage in cross-functional projects. This to me is hands down a career game changer. So if you can participate in projects that go beyond traditional HR boundaries, it'll help you gain a broader perspective of the business and to develop skills that are transferable across different functions. Say yes to every project opportunity that gives you exposure to core operations or to building relationships with future allies. Another strategy is to seek mentorship and networking opportunities. So connect with experienced HR professionals. Seek mentorship. Networking provides valuable insights and can open doors to new opportunities. But depending on where you are in your career, you might not need a HR mentor. You might be further advanced and actually need a business or a finance mentor. And so your needs are going to be different. So just see what's out there and see where you are in your career. And if you're not sure what platform you might need to help level up, reach out, put it in the comments, let us know so we can give you some tips. But the last thing and the last strategy is really to stay updated on industry trends. Like we need to keep abreast of the latest trends and developments in HR because this is going to help us anticipate changes and stay ahead of the curve in terms of where we want our career to go. So we want to follow reputable HR blogs or podcasts like this one, attend conferences or participate in webinars. We want to understand what's happening and we need to make the time to do that. But your organisation's support is so important in upskilling efforts. Companies need to invest in the development of their HR teams by providing access to the training resources and encouraging a culture of continuous learning and recognising the value of upskilling initiatives. We've been pigeonholed in spaces and we need to demonstrate how our knowledge needs to expand in different areas for us to add more value. And if your organisation doesn't provide the upskilling that you're looking for and you've exhausted your ability to influence that outcome, your upskilling might be coming from outside. And it ultimately might lead to your exit, in my experience. But if you are a HR leader listening to this, the steps you take to upskill your HR team could avoid you from losing them. However, be ready to support internal mobility and promotion. And yes, even if they're not quite ready because you have a kick-ass approach in upskilling, that's going to help them bridge the gap, right? In their new role. Back them in and back them up. I would encourage anyone wanting to work on their personal brand or trying to figure out what to do next to do that golden triangle exercise that I mentioned in the beginning. And I'll share some resources in the show notes. But essentially, draw a triangle on a large piece of paper or a flip chart and mark each of the 3 points with market need, what I bring, and what lights me up. And scribble down everything that comes into your head for each of those points on the triangle. And where you have something that meets all 3 of those points, that's going to be your sweet spot. But the reality is you might not know it or you might not be able to clarify it, not yet anyway. And when I guide my coaching clients through this process, it takes a couple of goes and things come into your mind later. So keep adding to it. Have it on your wall. Scribble things as they come into your mind. Your sweet spot becomes your elevator pitch. It's who you are, how you help, and why you do it. It can become your LinkedIn summary, your CV intro, and a reliable script of sorts for networking events. Confused customers don't buy, and that includes employers that are hiring. So if you want to secure that career opportunity, you need to know who you are, what you bring, and why you want to help. And if you don't know your sweet spot from this exercise, it'll show your gaps. Either you're not sure what the market needs, you can research it. You don't know what your superpowers or your key capabilities are, audit them. Or the job or the organisation that's going to make you want to get out of bed in the morning, you're not sure. Okay, you're struggling to know what your purpose is. then you spend your time there. It takes time and lived and learned experience, right, to figure this stuff out, which is why I help HR peeps to do it, because there's nothing better than helping a HR colleague to level up in their career or to find their groove through a lateral move. That's my why. The Golden Triangle helped me launch Reimagine HR. The market need as I saw it was overwhelmed, time poor, and under-resourced HR leaders and teams who were frustrated by a perceived lack of value and impact. And my superpowers were, over 20 years of global experience in HR with a side serve of early career marketing, PR and events, and quals, sure, but personality traits like grit and empathy and being able to build rapport quickly, those things meant I was relatable. I've been where you are and I can relate to your struggles. And my why? Well, that's helping HR professionals to thrive. Because when you are clear, capable, and confident in what you want to do, the value is evident. And job satisfaction is off the charts when you feel appreciated. Life feels good. And I want every HR person to feel that way. But unfortunately, with the conversations I've been having, it feels like the majority don't. So my sweet spot is Reimagine HR, providing consulting, coaching, training, and events to help build clarity, confidence, and capability so that together we can make workplaces better. Because toxic workplaces hurt people, and that's not okay. And that is not a career that's going to make us feel good. And HR has such diverse career options, and there really is a sweet spot for everyone. The challenge is to find it. That role where you are using your innate superpowers to solve a company or an industry problem in a way that lights you up. Imagine that. Before you go, if you're seeking personalised guidance, I do offer virtual career clarity sessions specifically for HR professionals. So you can reach out via our website, reimaginehr.com.au, to request more information via email or on a free call. I'm here to help you gain the clarity and confidence you need for a rewarding HR career. And if you have any questions, put them in the comments and I'd love to chat more. Thanks for tuning in and leaning in to this week's episode as we look to reimagine how we show up for our people, organisations and community. Reach out to us via our website at reimaginehr.com.au with your HR horror stories or suggestions of people you'd love to hear from or topics you want to explore. It's all about people, purpose and impact, and we are here for all of it. Until next time, take care, team.